here for the live reaction of episode 189. And man, oh man, was it off the charts or what? What a weekend of professional wrestling we have coming up. I am Dustin Starr. Welcome to the live reaction. Like I said, episode 189, the Lethal Showdown, where we had AEW superstar Jay Lethal on Memphis Wrestling today, but not just that. Also, TNA Wrestling superstar Jonathan Gresham was there with us as well. And if you think that's something, then you'll want to join us tomorrow for our Halloween Spooktacular. That's tomorrow, October the 6th. We're live at the WrestleCenter featuring Danhausen. Also, TNA Wrestling superstar Sue Young is going to be there. I hear Jason Voorhees is lurking around the WrestleCenter as well, and no telling who else. Now, tickets are very, very limited. You can get them at memphiswrestling.tv, or you might just have to get one of those standing room only tickets. I'm going to have to go on the website and just see if there's any way that I can release more tickets, because all of them have been sold. Tomorrow's Halloween Spooktacular is going to be off the charts. And those of you who cannot be there live with us, don't worry. It's going to air on Saturday, October 26th. That's Halloween weekend here in Memphis, Tennessee. What's up, Brian? How are you? Hello, everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining us for Memphis Wrestling today on the live chat. And thank you for joining us on the live reaction here. I want to encourage you to go ahead and join our members only, because there's exclusive content, never before seen content, pictures, videos, interviews, and so much more. I recently did a members only live chat where I did a Q&A and stuff that we're not necessarily supposed to talk about and we can't talk about on our social channels. I'm able to talk about right there. What's up, Brian? First question here. He said he's good. How's the family? The family is doing awesome. We've got a newborn baby girl that is 1 week old as of today. So big shout out to baby Rowan. Also, Reese the Beast has been just that today. He's been an absolute beast all over the house, going absolutely crazy. And big shout out to Mama Bear, my lovely Maria. She's doing an awesome job. What's up, Jeffrey? Love that championship badge. Patrick Moore, same thing. Baby's doing great. She's actually upstairs sleeping right now. And I don't know how it's even humanly possible to sleep through the noise that Reese the Beast makes, but here we are. Anyways, let's talk about today's episode. We kicked it off with the Bosby Open Invitational for the Internet Championship. And is anyone more surprised than me? Now entering the chat is Eddie Kanemane, who I believe might be Mike Anthony's #1 fan. I know he was really, really excited to see that. Also, Eddie Kanemane has a original Memphis Heritage Championship with a white strap, just like Mike Anthony had. It's ready at the WrestleCenter for pickup, and I'm hoping that Eddie Kanemane can come out tomorrow and pick that up at the WrestleCenter. If not, we'll get it this week. Patrick says, how's Reese taken as a big brother? He freaking loves it. He was holding Rowan a little bit earlier, and I pick him up from school and immediately starts talking about his baby sister. Bryant is in here. He says, hey there, I'm a wrestler from New York City. How can one be a part of Memphis Wrestling? I don't know. If you're in New York City, that's a pretty far drive if you ask me. I might want to go to the website and just send us a message. Might have to change that last name to Bryant Starr. What's up? Rico's in the house. How are you? Brian said he was shocked by the title change today. Jeffrey says, I'm not surprised. I called Mike winning. He's back to original form. We'll see. Stay tuned. A lot of you guys had some fantasy booking in the live chat. I always like that. See where we are, taking the pulse of what you guys think. But Mike Anthony answers the challenge from Tim Bosby today. Now, remember, Mike Anthony is a former Memphis Heritage champion. He's a former Cobra Cup winner. He won the title off the Gun Show and Lance Archer in a triple threat match. So Mike Anthony is no stranger to big matches and big victories. But today, he snapped a losing streak that was nearly 1 year long. So big props to Mike Anthony. He will hold that championship with honor and dignity, I know. And he'll be in action tomorrow at the WrestleCenter as well. Keith says, hey, Dustin, today was great. It was great seeing Jay Lethal wrestle today. Yeah, what a surprise. I love it when we're able to pull off these surprises. Now, I know that you guys knew Jay Lethal was coming because of the advertising and marketing and all that kind of stuff, but you didn't know exactly what Jay Lethal was going to do. And just when you think we're going to get Jay Lethal versus Jonathan Gresham one-on-one, and don't get me wrong, that would have been freaking awesome. But what a coming out party for Gio Savage. Gio Savage is currently being looked at by big major companies. He's getting bookings all over the place, especially being an extra with WWE. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say that or not, but Gio and Draco both doing big things, not only in Memphis wrestling, but all across, and to have them go head up, Geo Savage versus Jay Lethal right there. And also have Jonathan Gresham and Jay Lethal at the desk, both arguing about who's going to be the head coach at Memphis Wrestling. I love that. And for any of you that are watching and want to join, it's WrestleCenter901.com. Rico says, hey, what's the case with Nixie and C-Rex? Well, we saw a little bit about that today. The aftermath. Mackenzie Morgan was absolutely devastated, as I think all of us would be, after being the women's champion for well over 1 year, and to be dethroned in the manner in which C-Rex absolutely dominated Mackenzie Morgan. But don't sit there and think that we've seen the last of Mackenzie Morgan. Stay tuned. I know that she's going to be at the WrestleCenter tomorrow for our television taping, and C-Rex and Nixie will be in the house as well. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, great seeing Jay Lethal. Big controversy with C-Rex and Nixie XS. Who's the rightful champion? Well, if you ask me, C-Rex won the title, so C-Rex is the champion. Whether Nixie XS carries it around or not, I mean, that's up to them, I guess. But we'll see moving forward. Patrick says, what do you think of your fellow bookers, Triple H and Tony Khan? I think Triple H does a much better job than Tony Khan. But that's no slight on Tony Khan. I think Tony's got a different show. It's almost like an arcade. You get these matches that are quote-unquote dream matches. Obviously, Tony Khan is a fan of international wrestling like New Japan Pro Wrestling and such. Here in the States, I don't think it is nearly as possible as what they would like for it to be. But that's one thing that Tony's doing, is trying to make these international stars into stars here in America. But I think Triple H is beating Tony Khan in the booking right now. Brandon Skies says, hey, Dustin, watching Bad Blood? Yes, I am. I just heard that it's going to start early. We're going to be out at Dave and Buster's. Also, we've got Danhausen and Sue Young coming in town tomorrow. So never know who might show up at our watch party here tonight. That's happening at Dave and Buster's in Memphis. Plus, we'll hook you up with a free power card. Rico says, you would think C-Rex should be champion as she pinned Mackenzie Morgan. I agree with that. Willie says, 3 cheers for the gun show. What about that? A new #1 contender for the Memphis Heritage Championship. Was anybody shocked? I don't know that I could say I was shocked, but I'm always surprised when I see 2 of the biggest, baddest dudes in Memphis wrestling square off, and I love that we actually got a finish. I know that some of you guys in the chat were saying that it's going to be some sort of schmaz or turn into a triple threat again, but I'm glad that we have a definitive #1 contender. But it doesn't sound like Kate Toomer's taken to it very well, so stay tuned. Keith says, what's up with Draco and Savage? Something definitely serious is going on between these 2 guys. Well, I mean, if you know these 2 guys, you know that Gio is a likable guy, and you know that Draco is an absolute jerk. So I think we saw that play out today on Memphis Wrestling, and then next week in the main event, Draco in a beat the clock challenge against Jonathan Gresham. And not only does Draco say, you ain't going to beat the clock, but Gresham, brother, you ain't even going to beat me. I think Draco brought it on that promo. What's up, Andrea? How are you? Love you too. Thank you for joining us here. Go ahead and send your questions. I know you got them. Willie says C-Rex versus Cassandra Golden. I'd love to see that, Willie. Robert says, Dustin, do you think Shane McMahon is coming to AEW? I kind of think that he is, but I don't really know why he would. Why would he not just go and make an appearance in WWE, the house that he built? Yeah, I could see it happening, but I don't know that I would want it to happen. Rico says 1 year as champion is unbelievable. You're right. Ken says, Dustin, mother loving star. Oh, yeah. And I love that championship badge, Ken Terminator. Thank you for joining me here. Andrew says, hey, Dustin, I hope King Cobra takes the title off Nixie XS. She didn't win it. How about you? I don't think he takes the title off of her. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's not hers. I mean, who's going to defend it? Stay tuned. Grandmaster B says, dude, you look like Goku. I'm going to take that as a compliment. Here in the next couple of minutes, you guys can go and see the premiere of Rolling into Mempho, where Brian Trammell gives his opinion of today's show. Brian says there's no consistency with AEW storytelling. I agree. Rico says, I wish Lucha Underground would return. I would have loved to see Lucha Underground return. I became a big fan of that towards the end of it. Ben's here. He says, what's up, Dustin? Has Reese the Beast enjoyed being a big brother? He loves it. And actually, I think Reese the Beast might be in the house, at least for the Halloween Spooktacular tomorrow. Ken Terminate says, Brian S. Robert Dinkins won't like your comment. Okay. Andrew says, hi, Dustin. How you feel about Liv Morgan versus Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship with Dirty Dom in a shark cage. I think that is the match of the show. I think it has so much steam behind it, and it's so Memphis wrestling. Any of you guys that are old enough like me that remember Mid-South Coliseum, Burt Prentice or Ronnie P. Gossett being hoisted over the ring in a shark cage to prevent cheating. And I loved how they always threw gimmicks and all sorts of stuff from the shark cage down into the ring. Can't wait to see what Dirty Dom has in store tonight. It's going to be funny. Brian says, you just spitting facts. I hear you. Patrick says, if you like me and enjoy wrestling, I watch both WWE and AEW. I watch them both religiously all the time. Whether it's good wrestling, bad wrestling, or indifferent, I love it. Always gets me thinking. Brian, Rico, could we see a new title for the women's division? Why would we need a new title for the women's division? You talking about just a new championship design? Ken Terminated says, Dustin Starr, I was going to pick on you for not saying hi to me, but you are the man. I try to say hello to everybody, but sometimes these comments go so fast, especially in the live chat, where we push about 300 people in there, which is very, very good for us, and we really appreciate it. So, yeah, try not to leave anybody out. Willie says, will there be a women's tag team championship in Memphis wrestling? No, not in the foreseeable future, Willie, but I would love to have it. Andrew says, hey, Dustin, how you feel about CM Punk and Drew McIntyre Hell in a Cell tonight? It kind of reminds me, without the bad blood, obviously, of Gun Show and K Toomer, where you have two of the top performers in the entire league going head to head to see who the number one contender is to face off against Aaron Roberts, the Memphis Heritage Champion. So you got two of the biggest stars in WWE. You've got CM Punk and Drew McIntyre. They're both tied 1 win apiece, and they both really, really need this because Drew, I feel like, is headed for the world title picture. CM Punk, I have no idea. Maybe he's going to Seth Rollins next because they had this battle that they didn't finish. But both of these guys need the victory. Who's going to get it? Only one can. I can't wait. I think it's going to be Drew McIntyre. BJDPOD is in the house, the Big John Dalton podcast. I think that's Big John Dalton himself. Big highlight package today, and Big John Dalton called his shot. So I pose the question to you right here, right now. Next week on Memphis Wrestling, will we crown a new Memphis Heritage champion? We're fresh off crowning a new women's champion. We're fresh off today crowning a new internet champion in Mike Anthony. Congratulations to both C-Rex, Nixie XS, and Mike Anthony. But next week, will we crown a new Memphis Heritage champion? Will Big John Dalton, the 18-year-old wrestling sensation, the future Hall of Famer, the babyface beast, can he make history and defeat Aaron Roberts? I pose the question to you. Ken Terminator says, Bowen, doesn't Diana Taylor and Candy Girl have a relationship? Yeah, they seem to be friendly. We saw Jay Webb along with Makari Candy today. I thought that was pretty interesting combination. Rico says, Mike Anthony, new champ. I say, oh, yeah. Ben says, how do you feel about another former trainee being seduced to the dark side by Hollywood Jimmy Blaylock? That's a very good point, Ben. I think that Hollywood Jimmy is preying off these young up-and-coming rookies like Ray Collins, who, by the way, sold out. But he did have a big victory today, even though it wasn't straight down the middle. Ken Terminator says, Big John Dalton, I wish you the best against Aaron Roberts. He's going to need all the help he can get because that is one tough task, I won't lie. Andrew says, how do you feel about Michin and Chelsea Green in the dumpster on SmackDown? I loved it. Chelsea Green is the MVP anytime she's on the screen. Keith says Punk would deliver justice to McIntyre tonight, Chicago style. We'll see. Willie says, I wish I could go be on a date with DDT. I'm sure a lot of people do. BJD will win, says Brian. I want BJD to beat A-Rob, says Jeffrey. Rico says, look, I don't like Prince Gaston, but, however, he didn't deserve what Diana and Makari did. He should have left her candy alone. Shouldn't have left her candy out in the open. That's right. I agree with that. A-Rob is Aaron Roberts. We got you, Jeffrey. Keith says, hey, Big John Dalton, good luck for next week. Teach that punk Aaron Roberts a lesson. Save a little something for just in case, too. I would love to see that. Kimberly, how are you? New follower, welcome. Be sure to subscribe. We're live every single Saturday at noon Central Time for a brand new episode of Memphis Wrestling. We've done 189 weeks in a row. Actually, 289 weeks in a row if you count Championship Wrestling previous to us launching Memphis Wrestling. So we're here and we do a live reaction. I would say 8 to 9 times out of 10 we have a live reaction depending on where we are and what's going on live. But thank you for joining us, Kimberly. Andrew says, how do you feel about Jey Uso as the Intercontinental Champion? Yeet! That's all I got to say about that. Go check us out at the Grind City Wrestling Podcast right here on YouTube. We talk all about it. Jose says, hello, Memphis Wrestling from California. Keep the show going strong. Thank you, Jose. We definitely will. Ken Terminated. Welcome, Kimberly. Thank you, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is pretty cool. Some new viewers. Legacy says, I love your channel. Great content. Please stop making joke about kids getting touched. I don't know what you're talking about. Making jokes about suicide victims and hateful comments and gay people, it hurts to hear. That is not us. So you got the wrong channel, Legacy. But thanks for the warning. Andrew says, hi, Dustin. Who's that woman with the righteous path? I have no idea. But we've seen her a couple of weeks in a row, and we've seen her. Yeah, I agree, Ken Terminator. I don't know. He's on the wrong page. I have no idea, but I did not know that anyone wanted to follow the righteous path, especially a fan in the audience. I mean, I could boot Legacy out if you want to. I just think that they're confused. That's not us. And Brian says, move along, troll. Rico says, on Halloween, what creeps are coming to the WrestleCenter? All right, well, coming up tomorrow, Rico, we've got Danhausen. He's going to be there. The Undead Bride, Sue Young, will be there. Jason Voorhees will be there. And there is no telling what else is going down because it is going to be awesome. It's all going down tomorrow live at the WrestleCenter. Get your tickets at memphiswrestling.tv if you can find any. Looks like I'm going to have to try to release some more seats, but I think we might all be out of space, guys. Willie says, congrats on your new child. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Ken Terminated says, what is that fool talking about? Dustin's always been a gentleman. I think he's on the wrong page. That's what it is. Teddy Gorman's in the house. Are you going to explain why AEW is so bad? Okay, guys. You might hate me for this, but Teddy's right. The Ricochet and Will Ospreay match, I don't even know what to say. That was supposed to be a dream match, and I just didn't like it. It's almost like a couple weeks ago, Darby Allin and Jon Moxley both fighting over the number one contendership, even though didn't Darby Allin already have the number one contendership, but then they didn't acknowledge it. It's just a whole mess. I don't know. But Teddy, I do like watching because I like watching wrestling. All right, Brian, hold on. Andrea, hi, Dustin. That was a great internet championship match between Tim Bosby and Mike Anthony. Congratulations to Mike Anthony. I agree, two of the best that we have. And back to Teddy's point, those two guys would really help AEW out if they knew what to do with them. Thanks for stopping in, Teddy. I appreciate it. Keith says, I think Jay makes a great Intercontinental champion. I say that because years before his cousin The Rock was two-time champion. He's actually the fifth member of the bloodline, the real family, to actually win the Intercontinental champion. I still need Spider-Man to have redemption, says Rico. The diehards will know what he's talking about. Yeah, Roman is the former Intercontinental champion. Rikishi as well. How about Zilla Fatu taking the ROW championship? There were discussions. Booker T called me earlier this week. I am trying very, very hard to get Zilla Fatu here at Memphis Wrestling. Robert says Ospreay versus Ricochet was great. What if EC3 came to Memphis Wrestling? What if he did? What's up, Jammin' Music Man? Are you all caught up on the episodes nowadays? I know you were watching through every single one of them. Yep, Umaga, I believe, was an Intercontinental champion as well. Andrea says, hey, Dustin, how do you feel about Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns versus Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu tonight? It is the main event of Bad Blood, and also a Hell in the Cell match is on the card. So for that to be the main event, something big is going to happen. The Rock. Also, I'm hearing that Brock Lesnar is back. We'll see. Something big's going to happen. Patrick says, you still working with Booker T? Yes, I was on the phone with Booker T earlier this week talking about Zilla Fatu. Also, Johnny Lyons from Reality of Wrestling is going to be here tomorrow in Memphis Wrestling. Looking forward to seeing what he brings to the table. Keith says, a former WWE superstar, Rico, still around. I have not seen Rico in years. Jammin' Music Man, I'm almost caught up. What episode are you on? Rico, I see clips of OVW. It's not really my cup of tea, but I do like to check it out when I can. EC would take up too much time with his word salad speeches. Yeah, we'd have to cut his microphone off. Brian didn't like the match either. Best talent at FCW while you were there that never really made it. Wow. So when I was in FCW, of course, Big E was there. Xavier Woods was there. CM Punk came in for training. Seth Rollins, I took his very first promo pictures with WWE. Somebody that should have made it. I was there with Wade Barrett. Could not believe that Wade Barrett they weren't doing anything with him at the time. Heath Slater. Maybe I hate to say, but Titus O'Neil did some stuff, but I think Titus O'Neil, he was super talented and could have just been something more than what he was. It just never really happened. I was there with Bo Dallas. I was there with Wyndham. I was there with the Usos and Tamina. Joe Doring was there. So I thought Joe Doring was very much like a Stan Hansen, like just a big bruising dude. I think he had some success in Japan and got signed, and then I think he went back to Japan, but he was actually fired for having a relationship with Alicia Fox's sister. And her sister got hot and went to the office, and it got Joe fired. That was the story that I understood. Also, there was a guy named Lucky Cannon that I thought was very tall, in shape, long hair, good looking dude, and he just never really made it out of FCW either. And again, if I had a roster where I was looking at everybody, I might have better answers, but just off the top of my head, there's a couple. I was there with Jinder Mahal as well, former world champion. There was a lot to choose from. Rico says, man, 3-minute warning. I laugh about the fact that there was a WWE superstar named Rico. Andrea, hi, Dustin. Sing Makari Candy, find Lucy the doll and giving it back to Jay Webb. I thought that was cool. Maybe we'll see some interaction with those two, maybe mixed or intergender tag team matches or something. Adam Copeland returning to AEW. I have no idea. I thought it was crazy that he did that spot, though. Andrea, how do you feel about Seth Rollins returning to WWE and get revenge on Big Bronson Reed? I think Seth Rollins single-handedly got Big Bronson Reed over with those tsunamis. I love it. And it's going to elevate Bronson Reed too. And big shout out to Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed. Some of the best stuff that we've seen in a long time from some big men. Jamie the Music Man, I got to watch the episode when Gresham and Jordan Grace faced Austin and Nikki Lane. Well, that wasn't that long ago, so you're getting caught up. Rico says, I definitely feel like FCW could have been its own thing. It was, and then turned into a developmental. Teddy, Wade Barrett might be the biggest miss just in terms of what could have been. Dude pinned John Cena, made him a part of the Nexus. Also, I believe Intercontinental Champion. He was red hot when he retired or stepped away from WWE with the whole, I'm afraid I've got some bad news. Also, me and Wade go way back, so we still keep in touch a little bit today. Especially when he hit the commentary, I sent him a message. Glenn, can we swap talent Booker T? Can swap talent Booker T for a few weeks. Not sure what that means, Glenn. Resend that. Anyone play WWE 2K24? Did you pre-order? I hear that Bray Wyatt's going to be on there soon, guys. I think on the 15th. Derek says, hey, 5 stars. Dave Marquez going to do anything more than UWN because I've been seeing him in MLW. All right, so Dave Marquez's real job is producing television. And so he produces the MLW program, and he does not have a return date or television taping date or anything like that, regardless of what you guys have read. I would not believe anything on that. And I'm not throwing shade. I'm just saying, there's no television taping scheduled. So unless something is scheduled, then I would start looking out for it. Because if they have a TV taping, I would imagine in the next 3 weeks or so, you'd have some new content. There was a show in conjunction with somebody else a couple of weeks ago. They were going to check the footage and see if it was good enough for them to use. But that tells me that they're probably not going to use it. So, Derek, just stay tuned. I will let you guys know when there is a television taping scheduled, and that'll give you a good idea. Jamie the Music Man says, question for you, Dustin. Did you ever know a wrestler here in Georgia called Micah Taylor? He passed away recently. No, I don't think I do, but I thought I saw a lot of people talking about it. Always hate to hear somebody passing away. Hey, Jordy, how are you? You have a question? Shoot them this way. Patrick, do you ever wonder what could have been in your career, like whether you made it to WWE? Well, actually, I did. I signed a developmental contract. And when I left there, I started doing sports here in Memphis with the Redbird, the Hustle, soccer teams, you name it, and then also owning Memphis Wrestling. So I feel like that I have made it. And I think the WWE rub actually helped. And I'm not done yet, bro. Stay tuned. Now, do I look back and think maybe I should have been doing a little bit more promoting and such before I did? Absolutely. Maybe I should have been doing that sooner. Keith Jordan, good afternoon. When are you going to get ready for the next award show? The award show comes up in Q4, so we're almost there. I'd imagine you guys will start voting in December. Rico says, I'm very happy NXT is CW, but I was disappointed the old episodes aren't on Peacock anymore. Yeah, they took those down. I imagine that those will be on the CW app. King Barrett was awesome. Do you believe in Joe Hendry? Yes, I still email Joe Hendry to this day. Willie says, what's your opinion? Tom Latimer is NWA World Heavyweight Champion. I don't think enough people know enough about Tom Latimer for it to be a major deal, but I do believe that they are trying to build a superstar out of him, and he looks fantastic. Teddy says, how good was the production for the promos for Atlanta? Best ever. How good has the production been of the promos for Atlanta? Are you talking about Atlanta as far as Bad Blood tonight? Swap Toomer to Texas for Zilla for a few weeks. Well, Toomer's already going to Reality of Wrestling, so Zilla could absolutely make a trend here without a trade. Is there some wrestlers from UWM that you wanted to sign? No, not really. I'd like to have Papo Esco down here. I'm a fan of his. I'd just like to see him do some work. EC3 is so overrated, says Ken Terminated. Jammin' Music Man, Micah Taylor wrestled in Deep South Wrestling when his developmental territory in WWE. Yes, I think I saw Chris Masters and a few others reaching out or talking about him. What do you think of Xavier Woods as a heel? I think it's cool as long as Kofi turns with him. Andrew says, hey, Dustin, I can't believe that Ray Collins sold out. I don't like it. Go away, Ray. How about you? I do not like Ray Collins at all. Actually, right now, I hate Ray Collins. That's a shoot. Keith says, congratulations to Trick Williams as new NXT champion. I thought that was awesome. Go check out his interview with Van Vliet. He gives a big shout out to Al Capone for the Whoop That Trick. I really hope that WWE somehow signs up with Al Capizzi and gets that song for Trick to use, even if it's on the main roster when he gets called up. Buddy Bros. Hey, bro, what about Rock return in Bad Blood? Your opinion? I think it would be awesome. And if he does return, then that means we'll probably get a match at Survivor Series. And you know that anytime we're getting closer to WrestleMania, you'll see Rock. Andrea says, hey, Dustin, I love that Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill and Naomi hosting Bad Blood. How about you? I don't really know that much about it. It feels like that if they are going to be hosting, that something's got to happen. So what's going to happen? Somebody going to turn on somebody, or is this just to get them a little bit of TV time? Rico says, I think Ethan Page has had a great run thus far. Yes, I do too. All ego Ethan Page. We actually were in discussions, and he was coming to Memphis Wrestling. And I want to say, like Sean Spears as well, he was coming at one point, but I think he had a baby. And I can't remember what happened with Ethan Page, but he was coming, and something happened to where we weren't able to have him here that time. Teddy, who was your favorite enhancement talent to watch when you were growing up? Oh, wow. I love TD Steele. Old Memphis guy, TD Steele. I have no idea why. I guess because he wore a hard hat and he was kind of fun to watch. And then I love the fact that Alan Steele named himself after a Memphis jobber like TD Steele. Let's see. Scotty Riggs. I know he wasn't an enhancement guy in WCW, but kinda. Oh, Teddy with the good questions here, man. Keith says, true Kenny was Ruthless champion anyway. Buddy Bros, I'm from India. What's up, man? Thank you for joining us from India. Ken Terminus says, I kind of like Ethan Page, but he doesn't need to win a title again. I thought it was a good way to put a chicken shit heel, put the title on him, have Trick, chasing after him, and then Trick finally wins it, gets it back. Big pop, especially with CM Punk as the special referee. I thought it was a great touch. How do you feel about Nick Namath versus Joe Hendry for the TNA World Championship at Bound for Glory? I love it. I don't know that Joe Hendry is a world champion dude, but obviously the fans absolutely love him. So maybe Joe Hendry will get it. Jordy says, what is your favorite wrestler? I would say John Cena and Roman Reigns are my favorite wrestlers. Here in Memphis, I would have to put the Gun Show on the top there. Gun Show, big fan of K. Toomer, Mike Anthony. A big fan of Big John Dalton, Tim Bosby. Man, I got so many favorites. You can't ask me who my favorite wrestler is. All right, guys, got a couple more minutes here. The way that my day looks is I'm going to Dave & Buster's to watch WWE Bad Blood. It's absolutely free. Also, I'll stop by the WrestleCenter and put a couple of finishing touches on the building for tomorrow's TV taping. Remember, VIP tomorrow is 12:30. That's the meet and greet. VIP means you get a lanyard. So the lanyard, you get your autographs on there. Sue Young, Danhausen, Jason Voorhees, and more, all going to be there at the WrestleCenter. Looks like we are sold out. So if you're looking for a ticket, you can either send me a message or I might be opening up some standing room only seats. So big shout out to Memphis for supporting Memphis Wrestling. Another packed house. Your favorite 5 WWE wrestlers. Ooh. Roman Reigns, John Cena. Oh gosh, The Miz. I really like The Miz. You stumped me. I'll give you those 3. Cody. I can't forget Cody. Cody's one of my favorites. Whoever asked me who my favorite wrestler was earlier, Cody Rhodes is definitely on that list. Could we see Nacho Libre in Memphis Wrestling? I don't know why I asked, but love the fictional characters. You totally could see Nacho Libre in Memphis Wrestling. I actually have been talking to a Napoleon Dynamite about that. My favorite wrestler is and always will be Bray Wyatt. I'll never forget my first match that I refereed at FCW when I got there. I believe it was the Usos versus Bray and Bo. And I remember they were doing this big elaborate spot, and Bray told me, "Hey, ref, stay the fuck out of the way." Like, yes, sir, I will. Papo Esco versus K Toomer would be awesome. Dustin, which heel wrestler really gets under your skin? Ray Collins. Teddy, when you spent time as a ref, did you watch tape? Any specific people? Calhoun, Hebner, Bill Alfonso? Yeah, no, I really didn't. Also, when I became an MC for the Grizzlies and the hockey team and all that kind of stuff, I never watched and studied how another MC did it. I just did it the way that I thought. And then also, I always wanted to be kind of a strong referee. I didn't want to be a dumb, weak referee. So I remember counting the mat so hard that I actually went to the trainer. I was thinking, wow, they actually have a trainer here. And, my shoulder was hurt. And they told me, don't hit the mat so hard and, learn how to swipe and all that kind of stuff. I do like Rob Zapata. Rod Zapata is one of my favorite referees. He's very intense and aggressive. He will sometimes put his hands on the wrestlers. He also has a very good way of using his hands about how to, get out of the corner, and stuff like that, and how he does a definitive count with his hands and stuff. So I would say Rod Zapata. And actually, Rod and I rode to shows together and all that kind of stuff when I was there. Who's Dustin's favorite fictional characters? I love the Grinch that stole Christmas. I love me some Jason Voorhees. I love me some Super Grizz. No, I guess Grizz is that considered a fictional character? I mean, I know him like he's real. Keith, I first saw TD Steele in a match against pre-WWE debuting Mankind. I talked to TD Steele on the phone not too long ago, and I would love to have him at the WrestleCenter with a hard hat. Favorite monster wrestlers? I mean, got to be The Undertaker, right? He's got to be the favorite. I love Kane. Those guys were great. Right now, I love Cruel. The Monster Cruel, I think, is just fantastic. Bronson Reed, ever since he did those tsunamis on Seth Rollins, I feel like that he's going to be unstoppable. How do you feel about Damian Priest versus Finn Balor tonight? I really didn't even know that match was happening, Andrea, so I feel like Priest has to beat Finn Balor tonight. Jordy says, I'm a French wrestling fan. That's cool. Do I know any French wrestlers? I don't know. Get D'Lo Brown, former WWE. Okay, so he can do the head bob. Returning Lucy to Jay Webb is the equivalent of returning a child to an abusive household. What? Hope Miss Candy's real pleased with herself, especially after everything Simon did to give Lucy a better life. Get out of here, Bo. You got to be crazy. I want to see the Sandman versus Psycho Simon. I don't think I want to see the Sandman versus anybody, but I would love to see him come and pound some more Ghost River beers. Sierra's here. She's going to the Fall Fest. That's cool. Ken Terminated's here. Glenn, Dusty, Harley, Ted DiBiase Sr. Simon should get caned. Okay, I'm here for that. Do you think Triple H is a racist in the booking of black wrestlers? I saw something about this. No, I think you guys all made that up. I 100% watch the show. I don't believe it for a single solitary second. It's as diverse as it has ever been. I want to see the Joker destroy Ray Collins. I would book that. Rico says, I hope Cruel comes back. Me too. Sid was a great monster heel. RIP. Yes, I was going to book Sid in November. Tay says, Vader, overrated, underrated, general thoughts. Was Boss Man underrated? I think Boss Man was underrated because Ray Traylor was absolutely fantastic. He did great everywhere he went, even in WCW when he was what? The angel, the guardian angel or whatever. I thought he did great there. He did great as Boss Man. He came back in the tactical gear. I thought he was great there. He got hung in the ring in a cage match. I thought Boss Man was very highly underrated. And as a heel working Hogan, he was really, really good too. Vader, I feel like, is underrated. WWE just didn't like him. You know, in Japan and WCW, Vader was an absolute freaking monster. Also, I met Vader in person towards the end, probably the final 5 years of his career, and he was a major freaking jerk. So, Buddy Bros, Cody Roman versus Solo Jacob. Who, in your opinion, mass fight happens? I think that The Rock shows up and possibly turns on Roman Reigns. Either that or Brock Lesnar comes out and kills everybody. It's on last, so something's got to happen. What's up, John? How are you? Love that championship badge. You got the red strap like the gun show. Also, this is a good time to remind you guys you can join members only. We have exclusive chats where I answer even the hardest questions, shit that I'm not supposed to talk about. I do talk about. So go ahead and join. Plus, Memphis Wrestling early. It's only $3.99 a month. We've merged that with Memphis Wrestling Plus, so there's going to be even more content. Hit the join button and subscribe today. Bruiser Brody, the ultimate brawling hardcore wrestler. I have not seen enough about Bruiser Brody, but everything I have seen is absolutely awesome. Favorite monster was Abyss. Okay. Brody's good. I like Hanson better. Tony Storm was awesome earlier when she was talking about Stan Hansen. Big Bubba Foon coming October 27th. Hey, Dustin, when you bring in some luchador wrestlers at the WrestleCenter, well, stay tuned because tomorrow we have at our Halloween Spooktacular plenty of mass wrestlers. You're going to love it. Rico says, Dustin, do you think there's some guys from WCW and ECW that can still go? Scotty Riggs, he can still go. He wrestled on our program. I think X-Pac might be able to still go, at least in tag team matches. The Dudleys can still go if you have the budget for them. Eddie Kane Main, thank you, brother. He says members only rocks. Biscuit and Groovy, is there anybody that can throw a decent fireball? We'll go back and look at last year's Halloween Spooktacular. Psycho Simon threw one hell of a fireball. Buddy says, your country name and city, please. Oh, we're in the United States. Memphis, Tennessee. Oh, yeah. Teddy, did you ever watch much out of Portland? What about World Class before Lawler did the crossover? No, but I do know that saw a little bit from Hot Rod, Roddy Piper in Oregon. Also, there's some Oregon wrestling going on with the Midnight Heat. So they have a training center out there. So Oregon wrestling's up and going again, too. Didn't see much of World Class. I remember the Von Erichs and seeing highlights and stuff like that, but not really too much before Lawler. How to get booked on shows. Jamal, just send us an email, championshipwrestlingmemphis@gmail.com. Andrea says, hey, Dustin, I think Draco's Joe. I think so, too. And Draco is one of the biggest jerks that you'll ever meet. What do you think of the Learning Tree, Jericho? I hate it. It's my least favorite Jericho. I think it's absolutely awful. The only way that they could probably save it is to bring Enzo to partner with Big Bill. Eddie Kane with a $5 donation. Brother, thank you. When can I pick up my replica Memphis Heritage Championship belt? For those of you who don't know, Eddie Kane has a replica white strap Mike Anthony Memphis Heritage Championship belt ready to pick up. If you guys are on members only, you probably saw a photo of it already. It's absolutely awesome. Eddie Kane, if you're not able to come out tomorrow to the WrestleCenter to pick it up, then I'll see you on Monday. And then also we are training on Monday, so we'll be there after you get off of work. Willie says, Marcus Buff Bagwell, Scotty Riggs, former tag team. Does he still have it as a wrestler? They still have it as attraction wrestlers, where you can book them to come in and be a feature attraction, but not every single time. I just got a text from Terrence Ward that we forgot to censor the word piss. Wonder if we got a message from the station. Memphis Wrestling has always been the best. Fight me. Yes, I'm with Biscuits and Groovy. Fight me. Carmelo and Andrade are having a good series of matches on SmackDown. Yeah, they're having good matches, but what happens next, Keith? LA Knight, your opinion, Triple H or Shawn Michaels? I am just ecstatic as a wrestling fan and as a promoter or anything in between that Triple H and Shawn Michaels, two of the best to ever do it, care enough about the business. And I know they're doing it for a living and getting paid, but care enough about the business to settle down. Like HBK, man, he used to be a wild man. He has settled down and he is now making NXT a viable brand. I think it's great that Shawn Michaels and Triple H, those two guys are carrying on the tradition. Personally, just want Chris Jericho to be himself, no more gimmicks. I think he'd have to go away for a second and come back. Uh, Chamaria says, I want to see Sue Young come to Memphis Wrestling. Sue is amazing and awesome, talented Asia female professional wrestler. She started right here in Memphis, and she'll be here tomorrow. The Undead Bride, Sue Young, will be in Memphis Wrestling tomorrow. She's going to be appearing on our Halloween Spooktacular. Many of you might know that she suffered a very, very serious face fracture, broken nose, concussion, and all sorts of stuff with a deadly and unsafe chair shot. This will be her first appearance back since that injury. Can't wait to see her. Old friend of mine. What do you think about the conglomeration in AEW led by Mark Briscoe? You love it, says Andrea. I don't really like it at all. My first WWE live event, Jericho wrestled Luke Harper. That sounds pretty cool. Eddie Kane, man, I'll see you tomorrow. What time are you going to be there? New segment for the pod. Instead of F, Mary, Kill, what about Book, Barry, Crown? I love it. We're going to steal that. I'll run it by Devin. Rico says, I also remember Roman Reigns took on Paul White in a street fight. What about the female wrestlers? Who's my favorite female wrestler? Chelsea Green is my favorite female wrestler right now. She's money every time that she's on the screen, whether she's in a match or doing something silly. She is awesome. Willie says, Freya the Slayer is who I want to see on Memphis Championship Wrestling. Okay. I think I've been in discussion with her previously. Nothing came to fruition. Rico says, Dustin, how much longer is a pile driver banned? Just don't bring back Tiger Joe. Pile driver's been banned for quite a while. I always thought that if the pile driver was going to be lifted, that ban was going to be lifted, something big would have to happen. Jeffrey says, I saw Jericho live with Fozzy. I'd love to see Fozzy. I'd like to see Jericho be himself as a rocker. Jericho, great concert, by the way. I actually tried to book Fozzy at the Overton Park Shell, and I want to do it next year. But the promoter that I have to work with through Fozzy, not very communicative. Did I say that word right? Not very easy to communicate with. I'll just put it that way. Sony says, hello, sir. Do you like Seth Rollins? Yes, I do. Did you see USWA Texas? I saw some of it. In India, people like Roman Reigns. I love Roman Reigns. Eddie Kane Main says, will noon work for you? Absolutely, Eddie Kane Main. I'll be there at noon with your championship belt. Derek King did what he felt was right. It's Tiger Joe's fault he wasn't a trained wrestler. Well, Tiger Joe asked for that. And if you guys have no idea what we're talking about, go check it out in the archives. Derek King pile drove Tiger Joe on Memphis Wrestling. Can't wait until Sue Young's coming this Sunday, waiting for her to appear, and Danhausen too. Should be good. Favorite Japanese wrestler? Tiger Mask, Muda, Tajiri, Shinsuke, or Kabuki? That's easy. Great Muda. Muda was the first person I ever saw spit the mist. He also gave Ric Flair and Sting a run for their money. Anybody that could go toe-to-toe with Sting back in the day, even if I've heard of you or not, I'm on board. And that's how I kind of learned of the great Muda, is wrestling Sting and Ric Flair. And seeing those two guys go is like, he made me believe that he belonged at the top of WCW. And I just wish that he was more full-time there and could have made some more history. Dustin, what do you think about women's title match? Do you think Tiffy will cash in on which women's match? Well, she's going to cash in on Nia Jax for sure, and she's going to be a great champion. Do you think Bray Wyatt should be in the Hall of Fame? Yes, I definitely think he should be in the Hall of Fame. Sting versus Muda was amazing. Every single time it was amazing. And Muda, his elbow drop and the cartwheel gimmick into the corner was always awesome. All right, guys, that's all the time that I have. Who you supporting, Alex Pereira or Kali? I probably won't be watching that. I'll be prepared. You guys got to realize that the television weekends are absolutely crazy. We've got the formats completed on what we're going to do, but then it will change probably 5 or 6 times between now and bell time. for various different reasons, and that should be talked about on members only and not right here. And that's a reminder. Go ahead and join our members only, guys. It's only $3.99 a month. You get to watch Memphis Wrestling earlier than everybody else. You get exclusive Memphis Wrestling custom emoji cons, also these championship badges that you guys have as well. Keith Jordan's in the house. See you tomorrow, brother. Keith Jordan sits the front row. Can't wait to see him there. 12:30 is the meet and greet. 1:30 is bell time, and we have our Halloween spooktacular. Muda was a great Japanese wrestler. He's a legend. Also, Taka and Funaki. I like Taka. Remember Kaientai? Yes, I do. Teddy Gorman with a $10 donation here. Appreciate that, brother. You need to come out to the WrestleCenter. I'll tell you what I'm going to do with that $10 too. And then also, it looks like we're up to about 17 bucks. Is that money gets donated in the form of tickets for those who typically can't come to Memphis Wrestling, whether it's price or whatever the case may be. Even though we are the cheapest ticket in town, I'll put that towards getting some kids into the WrestleCenter. Muda put out a fire in a cage with his mist. When's the next members only, Dustin? That's going to be this week. Thanks for the entertainment. Thank you, Teddy, for the good questions. You had me stumped. I'm going to have to think of those and answer those in members only. I'll see you then. Noon, Eddie Kane, Maine. Andrea, see you later. Keith, Glenn, everybody, thank you guys so much. I'll see you right here next week on Bell Time. And remember, next week, the main event, Draco going one-on-one with Jonathan Gresham. And Bo Simon is not innocent. Teddy Gorman with another donation here. I really, really appreciate that, man. $19.99. Gosh. Really appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much, and I will see you guys at bell time. Take care of some more kids. You know I will. Bad Blood tonight. Yeah, we're going to get ready and head over to Bad Blood. Thanks, Teddy. Thanks, Eddie Kane, man. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you guys next week. Or perhaps tomorrow. Oh, yeah. See you guys.